bit, though, as Mickey will end up dropping just barely the right click of Mira on that Shadow Demon collapse. He's going to end up getting traded out, so it's a 1-for-1 to start as Insanity's continuing the pressure onto Mira, but they're going to walk away, going their respective ways.
I feel like Spirit always make a point out of not being the favorites. I wonder if they truly think that they're not the favorite of this tournament, or at least one of them. They had a great group stage and a great score. I mean, he makes a fair point, right? They did primarily beat teams that are now eliminated, so it's easier to look good. But that first game against Liquid, which you could say is their hardest test so far, did also not look
To be fair, if somebody asks you that question, you look like a giant douche if you say, yes, we are the favorites. That's a bad thing, usually. I would think, at least.
I mean, you could maybe not say we're feeling mediocre.
Okay.
If you're winning every, like 92% of your games, you know, but
they're doing quite well.
Well, maybe their goalpost is just 100% win rate. So if you lose even one game, then it's a mediocre tournament for you.
Sure.
No? If you have that attitude, aren't you the favorites?
I agree. I think a lot of people think that this is the replay.
I know. Here's your replay. Thank you.
Okay, I thought you almost pulled the Suns fan.
I did not. I would never. Yeah, seeing the replay here, so I mean, pretty standard stuff for a little bit of a skirmish. Weaver is an exceptionally frail hero once Shukuchi is on cooldown. If you take the fight, it's a very long cooldown, level 1. It's 15 seconds on that spell, which sometimes people tend to forget because you just have this image of Shukuchi here, there, and everywhere. But that's obviously a later thing in the game, and got to be careful when you which fights you take on this hero. But okay, so let's talk a little bit about the lineups. The panel was pointing out that Spirit's lineup is very teamfight heavy and very cooldown reliant, which is very true. But Poshka actually not letting us talk about lineups right now.
Right, charge into Blood Grenade. He's pop the Fairy Fire. Getting pursued, but Zion Company not able to pursue any further because of that tier 1 tower. Go ahead, Cinder.
Yeah, so a lot of teamfight on the side of Spirit, but maybe not the most catch. You've got Laurel who can roll in and kick people back, and then you have a follow through with the Shadow Step, but there isn't any, you don't have like that Blink Call from Axe that's just always going to land, or you know, the CK Shadow Blade in this game. The nature of the game will be different. On Liquid, we've got a way more clear-cut way of initiating with the charge into Pango combo. We've got Deadshot. And most importantly, as Matsu pointed out, their cooldowns are way shorter. So you can play more of a skirmishing style. This seems like a very clear approach from Liquid based on what they saw in game 1. They're like, okay, what we tried there didn't work. We're going to shake things up a lot. Like, this lineup is very, very different from what they ran in the game that we just saw played. We'll see if that adjustment is going to pay off here. I definitely like their odds better in this one than I did in the previous one. But, you know, at the same time, it's a bit high risk playing like this, perhaps.
And the battle for the Lotuses, and Mickey will reign supreme. Higher tick rate on his server. But Mira, like you talked about, Shadow Demon against the Spirit Breaker is kind of like the big counter to the hero overall, along with the itemization. It feels like even in games that we've seen this picked, the Spirit Breaker still destroys eventually. That's what it feels like, at least. I don't know if that's confirmation bias or what. Would you agree, disagree?
I mean, I think core Spirit Breaker is just extremely powerful right now, almost no matter what. I think you need to completely obliterate him in lane to shut him down. We saw the game against Muerta just now in the other series with VP against Betboom, and despite the Kiritich playing a very good laning stage against pure Spirit Breaker, he still came online eventually and became top net worth. So, yeah, this hero is kind of crazy right now. It's banned in most games for a reason, and I'm kind of surprised that we get to see it twice today. I thought this hero was just going to be an almost must ban in every game, but the teams are trying to find solutions. Obviously, we saw the Doom as one potential solution, didn't work, and now we see Mira on the Shadow Demon. Demonic Purge is an S-tier spell against Spirit Breaker, slows you to a crawl, removes Bulldoze. But yeah, we'll see if that's enough. We've seen this tried by other teams. This is not the first time this tournament people pull out Shadow Demon against Spirit Breaker, and I think the last time we saw it also lost. So
I think it works a couple of times in the game, and then when he gets enough items, it just doesn't matter anymore, it feels like.
That is exactly how it feels.
And I think one of the big issues, maybe if you want to call it that, with Spirit Breaker is his ability to farm has been just power crept so hard over the last couple of years.
That is why
he's one of the fastest farmers in the game. And he's a cow. That doesn't really make sense.
It's kind of crazy that a hero that used to have it as his Achilles heel, right, was the struggle to find farm, is now top net worth in a lot of its games. Like, that's a very major transformation this hero has undergone. And maybe it's a bit on the high side right now. He definitely seems to be, okay, hang on. Decent combination onto it. And Poshka fearing him back into the silence, but just barely out of range.
Yeah, but bottom lane, Insania takes a tumble via Mira, who's now getting chased by Mickey, but won't pursue any further, it looks like.
There's too many creeps in the tower. Mickey can't really afford to go hunting for a potential Shadow Demon kill there. He needs to make sure that he gets this CS. And yeah, this is a very easy lane for Tide, I think. There's a reason that Spirit went for this as their last pick in this game. The lane matchup of Weaver is very straightforward. You get a couple points in Crack and Chill, you largely mitigate all of the Geminate attack, and you just sit there and farm. So top net worth.
So calling it now, dead in the water against Weaver.
Very good.
Against Pango.
Very good.
Against Spirit Breaker.
Very good.
My God.
It is very good.
That is an S tier shard this game, I think.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if Collapse prioritizes that very quickly. And the fact that you can just anchor them, and then when Spectre actually has farm to be able to ult in anytime they want, they can get some nice pickoffs with just that as well, without too much to really expend by doing so.
Yeah, just an anchor and a Shadow Step can kill supports as well.
Of course, Mickey does have Geminate attack, which helps.
Yeah, it's something. When he gets level 25, he might take the one with an additional attack.
Yeah,
maybe 3 times.
The other 2 cores are melee against, so it's going to kind of be the same issues we saw last game to a degree. We'll see what kind of build that Foxy ends up going for. I know it feels like they start out as support with Norton and then eventually turn into a core anyway.
Oh, big damage on Zai. Nice block.
He blocks Yatoro. Going to continue on. Just the one not going to survive. TP a little bit too late as Yatoro claims that kill.
That was just flat out. That was just beautiful from the Porsche kill. That was flawless execution. They force out the charge first off with a bit of damage and harass, and then he just blocks him the whole way after. Very well done. Zai probably had the option there of TPing back to base. Obviously, Spirit Breaker is one of the heroes in the game that suffers the least from porting to base. You can just charge back to the top lane. So maybe regretting that choice right now of not going for that. I definitely think he would have survived. The kill was very slow. But he'll make the same play just with a death, returning up to top.
So all this talk about Pango getting nerfed, quote-unquote, to the ground several times now, and we're still seeing it.
Yep.
Pretty consistently. What, do you think, to hold that thought actually, is Mira? The swashbuckle already used by Nisha. Let's be a bit careful. Roll in, not going to connect from Laurel, as Insania is showing himself now, so no harm done. But yeah, talk to me about your thoughts on how strong Pango is. He's still continuing to get picked, because the one thing that hasn't really been nerfed, I think, is his ult, if I'm not mistaken.
So the concept of the hero is largely the same, right? We've been tweaking numbers, a little bit less damage on this spell, a little less damage on that spell, a little more mana cost, but the essence of what the hero does is largely unchanged. It is buying Diffusal, burning mana, and then having an ult that's very hard to counter strategically.
Yep, calling is there. Nice dead shot, can bring Mira back into the fray. Will die as a result as Nisha showing off that new Rolling Thunder, but the haste rune being applied by Laurel. He can dodge out a couple of those rolls. So Nisha not able to follow up. It's a nice roll in. Boxy on a bunch of creep will die to the neutrals.
Laurel could maybe
he's getting charged right now. They have the vision, but
not quite.
Gonna cancel it out. Sure, Foxy was a bit surprised to receive the hit and run there.
Yeah.
And then dies to creeps anyway.
He's going to be very happy to die to the neutrals.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of waste of time there from Laurel. And
Collapse has Meteor Hammer, by the way. And Weaver has no stun. So this will be a free tower for Collapse at the 9-minute mark. This Mickey he's eventually going to go for the Hurricane Pike, or at least the Dragon Lance right now. How does that work against Dead in the Water, Force Staff? Do you know?
I think you would just move with the anchor, but it stays on you,
right? That's right. You get anchored. Yatoro, already half HP, going to use that ult to get away onto the other side. Mickey is waiting for him, but does not have the damage at this point. Yatoro back to base.
Yeah, he's going to live, but that's still a good move from Liquid, slowing him down quite a lot. Having to use ult and TP to just survive, and they find Mikoshka here too, and nicely done. A good sequence from them. Let's count that as a kill and a half with how much Yatoro just lost from having to port to base, having to walk his way to top lane, and having to buy a TP as well. All the expenses add up, and they're going to turn into some serious tower damage too.
2 games now, he's getting massive stacks.
Yeah, this time around he won't be farming it too fast though, because he went for 3 points in Crack and Shell, so this is a bit slow. But eventually he'll get through it.
Just take smaller bites. Insania nether blasting the tower. So eventually will be a delayed trade between the two tier 1s on opposite sides of the map. No even game so far. Team Spirit, I think at this point was like maybe 2K ahead, and they just kept progressing in that game number 1 just slowly until they just hit a point where they could not lose a fight or even a hero for a very considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
But Liquid faring a bit better this time around.
I guess something that's worth pointing out is the discrepancy between quality of Tide games, you could say. The matchups for Tide in this game are so much better than Zai's were in last game, so I'm expecting Collapse to have a better showing. There's nothing here that's preventing him from getting Ravage off, unless you get like some sort of ridiculously perfect chain stun combo around Kraken, or you line up an exact silence combination. I mean, you get where I'm getting at. It's very difficult here to prevent him from having that impact. And you don't have the most obvious silver edge buyers either. Are you going to buy it on Weaver?
Double invis, I hear
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the question because buying crit on this hero is good anyway, and you're also against Spectre, so you probably do want to break. But none of your heroes naturally really love itemizing this, so...
Well, Merta, as a core, would buy silver
yes,
edge, right?
But Boxy has brown boots.
I mean,
so
could we see
he's almost there.
Well, we used to see a lot of Shadow Blades on Spirit Breaker.
Spirit Breaker can buy silver edge, but it's a little bit awkward because your initial attack obviously has to be melee. You have to charge through, so you're at the mercy of vision and some, potential counterplays.
And Boxy gonna dodge the roll, unbeknownst to him. Nisha gets off that Rolling Thunder, now Collapse stuck inside the calling right now. Looks like that's gonna be a freebie for Liquid. A nice turnaround as the Nether Strike going to be applied to the Phoenix, but Poshka dives away, very low HP, takes a full swashbuckle with the shield crash to follow here.
Oh, nice dead shot.
Laurel able to get the initiation off onto Nisha, but the heals coming out from Insania. Will it actually be enough? They're going to take out the Pugna first. What about that Butler? Now the chase is on. Already a 2-for-1 right now is Yatoro ready to go. Mickey running out of mana though. As you can see, the ult from that Shadow Demon applied to Zai. He just can't do anything. A nice place calling though. It's not going to be enough to save out Mr. Zai. Triple kill for Laurel. As Mickey looking to potentially go for some more, but looks like they'll back away. So it ends up being a 3-for-1.
Yeah, it's going to cost Liquid their mid tower too, because Tide is immediately going to show back up here. He's going to hammer. They're going to glyph it this time around, but imagine that it's just a matter of time before he completes this. So, yeah, honestly, a pretty good start there from Liquid, the way they isolated and killed off Collapse. It was very telling how long that took for 4 heroes to bring him down, but they do get there with all of those combinations.
Okay.
Could have been scary, but...
Yeah, it was a more elongated fight than I remember. It was a 3-for-3.
Yeah.
So, old man moment.
And it's worth keeping in mind that Spirit's lineup, obviously, we talked about big team fight versus skirmishing power. Earth Spirit is an incredible skirmishing hero at this point in the game, so they really want that value out of Laurel, and they're getting it in spades so far with that triple kill in that fight. And it's a Spectre game. This hero, when enabled, I want to say it loses pretty few late games. There's a subset of heroes that you're not that great against. I wouldn't put Weaver in that category. I don't think Weaver is a particularly scary matchup late game here.
Well,
so the tower gets big enough.
With the shard changes, he's way better than he used to be.
Definitely better than he used to be. But you're still running into the break problem, right? Where, yeah, Spirit Breaker can get that Silver Edge, but more than likely Zai wants to go Octarine, he wants to go Yashakaya, he wants to go maybe you need BKB this game? I don't think you do, actually. But I guess if you don't get BKB Lincolns, you're very pressured out of the fights by Demonic Purge. You might want a protection item as well, so Silver Edge isn't going to be at the top of his list exactly. Charge.
He's
going to complete it. Oh, wait, he stopped right before. Oh, that's bad.
Turn this around now. Ravage comes through from Collapse as well. Zai already dead. If they can somehow find Mickey, but no, not enough lockdown. Dead in the water, not there yet, Cinderin.
Yeah.
Not 15 minutes yet. Soon.
That did just not work out. Zai canceled his charge just a millimeter away from his target, so didn't even get the Greater Bash coming through. And just stuck in no man's land, getting countered out there. I think a lot of players will be not opting to go for these moves at all. We've seen Spirit Breakers just farming, right? Just being greedy, keep pushing side lanes, use that Midas, farm some jungle. And it feels like Zai's moves have not really been paying off for him very well this game, so perhaps going for that slower and greedier play is the way to go in this one. Well, I say that. He's immediately charging his next target in Laurel, but not going to complete that one either. Just losing out on some pretty valuable farming time.
Oh, collapse.
We'll have to deny this mid tower now as well. So
Collapse and Mira in the same vicinity as these three members of Liquid. They're going to find the tide to start. Looks like Mira just drops very shortly after this engagement started. Is Collapse getting charged on? Nice dodge out from that ult on Nisha. But this is going to be way too much damage as Zai makes his way over as well. So a 2 for nada.
That was very nicely placed calling from Boxy, getting that double silence immediately. Really ruined the counterplay from Shadow Demon, potentially disrupting. Just very, very aware of the plans that Spirit had to stall that fight out and maybe get reinforcements, and they just get completely denied. So 2 kills for Liquid. Pretty much a dead even game right now. And they might find another one, Mikoshka.
Yep, not going to bother ulting there.
Yeah, would have died anyway.
Okay, level 12. 300 away from the Deso for himself. We have a Midas, of course, on Zai. I think it's the only... Oh, I spoke too soon. Laurel has a Midas himself as well. Laurel taking a lot of damage from Nisha, who now has that Diffusal Blade. He's completely automatic, going to get charged on by Zai. A big kill for Liquid. As Insania ticking away ever so slowly to that Magnetize. We can see Mira gets dropped by Nisha as well.
Spirit needs to be really careful with what fights they choose to take. I think these couple of moves, when you don't have Spectre healthy enough to join, they're kind of just getting overwhelmed by the raw mobility and just skirmishing power of Liquid's team. This is the type of way you want to play against Tide, is to just not take 5-on-5s, so you can find 2v2s, 3v2s, whatever. You're looking great in those, and Nisha has been very involved.
Yep, headshot not going to be there, but the swash is there from Nisha. He's going to use the inhibit as well. The heal's coming out, and yeah, that's a dead Yatoro again. So Liquid starting to create some serious momentum on their side for game number 2.
This is snowballing really fast. Maybe Silent was right. Spirit aren't the ones. I'm sure they can fix it. I want to say some of Spirit's worst minutes in the tournament, I think that's fair to say, have just transpired. And
yep,
they're going to try to make up for it.
Caster Curse reverse potentially. Going to get the Ravage as well. Do they have the damage to get through? Disruption from Mira. And that is a dead Weaver. Big kill for Spirit.
Very
desperately needed.
Very, very good. He was going to get off the time lapse. There was just enough of a gap between the rolling boulders that would have been a possible play for Mickey. And if that comes off, he survives, but he just poisons him in that disruption and kills him in disruption, essentially. So yeah, they find a bit of a return kill there. And I was going to say much needed. It's not that bad yet for Spirit because Spectre's trajectory is still looking pretty solid. Yatoro is closing in on the Sacred Relic, so we're looking at maybe a 20-21 minute Radiance. And their lineup has extreme late game potential, I want to say. Phoenix, one of the best scaling supports. Shadow Demon as well has massive late game potential. Tide can definitely be a big factor in late game situations too. And Earth Spirit Core, who used to... Oh, hang on.
Silent Nisha in a lot of trouble. He gets deleted.
Yeah, doesn't have any defensive item yet. He's working on that Manta.
I mean, the game was slipping away from Spirit, but now 2 extremely important kills for them, and they're back in this.
I think Mira got both of them as well. So the Shadow Demon getting a big bag here. Wonder what he's going to go for. See a pipe flying out now.
I was hoping for a Midas, honestly.
What is the best build on Shadow Demon this game? I
mean, is Ags... I mean, it only gives 2 charges now. Right?
I mean, ultimately, Ags is going to be incredibly good, right? But maybe... Do you buy the Shard? You can purge off Decrepify from allies. You can purge off... I don't know. I'm actually not sure if it's good enough. Maybe just go with it. He's going Aether Lens for now, and then we'll see what his next quick buy item is. Charge from Zai.
Their strike will be there as well. Do they have the lockdown? Yes, the bash is there. Let's go from Liquid. As I was going to say another Midas may be coming for Boxy, but he actually switches up his build to be a Greaves instead. So helpful for the team.
That item is not very popular.
That's true.
Very interesting choice to see coming out from him.
Yatoro, early Blade Mail. Nisha's going to pop that Rolling Thunder. Insania trying to make his way over as well against another blast. They have the vision now with that charge coming through, and that is a dead Spectre. Big kill for Liquid as they're just training him left and right, it feels like. As Liquid now back in decent control of this game with a 4K lead.
Yeah, nowhere to Shadow Step to there. Didn't even try. You can't see anyone, so... Liquid making sure that when they go for these Spectre kills, they're not opening up a vulnerability on the other side of the map for him to escape to. So clean stuff there. picking up a Yules now on Miposhka. Interesting, obviously. Key item against Spirit Breaker for the time being. Eventually, Zai is eyeing up a BKB already now, and at that point, Demonic Purge is your only real solution for this guy for quite a while. But right now, Yules can pay off big time if they find the kind of fight they will be looking for. Speaking of items, Nisha almost completing Manta style, 50 gold off. We'll get it from this wave, and that's a great way for him to break out of the Earth Spirit combination. So progression on all fronts here, and you know, it's a 5k lead for Liquid. It's looking way healthier than the last game, to say the least. Now it's a matter of enforcing your will on the map, right? There's a specific type of fights you don't want to take, and I want to say those are the ones where you clump up and, you know, let the enemy team land all their big AoE spells, but a lot of skirmishes should be possible as long as you account for the Spectre factor in those. And I don't know, maybe you're also happy to farm. I haven't really seen this Weaver versus Spectre matchup late game. I'm just going off of memory about how this usually goes, but maybe it's clearly different now than it used to be. Maybe you feel confident.
A lot of the decisions that you're talking about come to team dynamics as well. We've seen a lot of teams very happy to go late game anyway.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of how the game is actually going. At first I thought they were just scared to go high ground in general, but it just feels like they feel like it's literally better just to wait like 50 minutes, third, fourth Roche, and that's when you take your time. But other teams we've seen actually able to implement a faster play style.
Yatoro now with the Radiance, so big upgrade for him. Blade Mail Radiance, he's playing against currently 0 BKBs, so massive impact item, and a lot of damage onto Pugna as well. I think that's probably the target for Spirit that they would love to kill the most to begin the fight, is just get this Pugna out of play, remove the Decrepify threat, remove the heals onto the course that they want to follow through on afterwards. Yatoro is probably able to do it in a single stun. They just need to connect something onto Insania, and he will be a quick kill. See Yatoro again.
Yep, Swash to start things out. He's going to use his ult to dodge out the first rolling Thunder proc. Nicely done, but will they still find the damage? Deadshot a little bit awkward, though. Disruption now from Mira is going to be enough to actually save his life. It looks like it is. So a bit of a miscue there from Liquid side, as Insania might pay the price. Laurel continuing on. He has the Magnetize applied to Insania, trying to TP out, but it's a little bit ambitious at this stage. Yeah. It could have been a huge kill for Liquid, who are already sporting a decent lead with 6k right now.
It's one of those moments where you're kicking yourself a little bit, right? Because with maybe slightly better communication, that misplay doesn't happen, and at the same time, Yatoro with a great Shadow Step dodge there made their lives that bit harder. It's just one support at the end of the day that you lose, but realistically speaking, that was probably a dead Spectre that you ended up losing, so it kind of feels like you lost 2 or 3 heroes even in that engagement. But they're still looking very healthy on the gold, and as we all expected, guys, Spirit Breaker top net worth, minute 23. Truly one of the heroes of all time.
Octarine
keep it rolling.
Is finished for Zai. Midas, BKB to come, I assume. Is Shadow Blade. So he will be going for the Silver Edge eventually. And it's Tormy time! Poshka will get the shard, and that is a very, very good one.
Yeah, gets a lot better when he gets level 12, because then he has the protection of a much harder to kill Supernova, but still just a nice pickup in general. Yeah, as you mentioned, Zai will start working toward that Silver Edge. They recognize that it's an item they have to get. If he wasn't in a breaking game here, I don't think he would buy Shadow Blade even, but the break is just too important here. So you kind of have to go for it over other interesting items that we've seen people buy on this hero, such as Linken's or Kayayasha.
Interesting.
Refreshers, you know. The whole catalog of items.
He'll find his way there eventually, if this is like any other Spirit Breaker game we've seen this tournament.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not going to fall off, I'll tell you that much.
Yep. I mean, if a cow falls off, I don't think they can get back up, so that would be pretty bad if he did.
Falls off what, though?
A cliff.
Yeah, a lot of things can't get up when they fall off a cliff. Thank you very much for your insight.
Liquid with a 6k lead. We haven't seen a Roche attempt quite yet.
Charge from Zai.
Gen from Zai.
No silver, though.
Collapse is going to pop the pipe. Another strike's going to be there. Mira's now in the area with the disruption available. attempting to use it yet. They're trying to get rid of these little bugs, and there's the Ravage from Collapse. Can they turn this around? Ult in from the Spectre as well. Disruption. Oh, actually gonna get some decent heals from this egg as well. Still nobody has died somehow. Laurel comes in, he's taking the brunt of the damage. There's a disruption, but now he's on enemy lines. Looks like that's gonna be the sacrifice for Team Spirit. So Collapse ends up living throughout the day here. He's going to jump right back in, uses that anchor. That's the dead in the water onto the Pangolier. They're going to lose their Shadow Demon, though. And Yataro's going to have to back away because they just don't have the damage right now. And Mickey going to be whipped into submission, but will just Shikuchi away. So 2 dead for Spirit, 0 for Liquid. And that was the anchor being shown for the first time from Spirit's side.
And the panel talked about this, right? Spirit might run into damage problems in the mid game, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Laurel, without that BKB, he just gets shut down. And there's 2 BKBs on the side of Liquid with massive impact there. The Spirit Breaker as well as the Weaver.
Yeah.
But the fight's not over.
He's healing up quite a bit. Eventually will fall. Meteor Hammer actually connects onto 2. Mickey with a beautiful time lapse. He's going to get most of his HP back. As a result, as Yatoro just get right-clicked down by Mickey on that Weaver. And Spirit loses a very valuable member. I don't think they can go any further. Collapse with no ult, of course, using the previous fight. And Zai, well, that's a Spirit Breaker, so he's fine.
Yeah.
He's literal opposite as an ancient apparition. He's going to get anchored, though. And it's gone. Okay.
Yeah, I think Zai is going to make a point out of not using Bulldoze when he charges, because he will get Yuled a lot of the time by the Phoenix, and if he just reserves the Bulldoze for after, if there's no Demonic Purge ready or Shadow Demon isn't in the play, he can very safely get out of there with just the Bulldoze. Because, as we've already established, there's a bit of a damage issue going on for Team Spirit right now. So another great fight here from Liquid. 10k up. First time they've got a 5-digit lead in this series. And it doesn't look like they're going to drop it anytime soon either, right? It feels like if Spirit are going to turn this game around, they need to get some big items. The BKB on Earth Spirit is definitely a start. The type of fight that he will be looking for is one that extends so long that the enemy BKBs expire and that he just keeps Magnetize running on targets during it. But it's a difficult challenge to overcome for him.
Roche being attempted. In the meantime, Maposhka is going to get another struck, but Zai, it is a 3v1. Well, I feel like he's going to get out because, again, Spirit Breaker. It's a 4v1, in fact. My goodness, Collapse was looking for the anchor, but yeah, EKB is going to prevent all that.
And in the meantime, Nisha will be grabbing the Aegis of the Immortal, choosing not to put it on Weaver here. I feel very confident that Mickey can stay alive. I think this is a little bit dangerous to the extent that Mickey is playing very aggressively on his Weaver for now, and if he does get caught by some sort of Ravage combination where everything is available and Earth Spirit gets to chain all of his spells with his BKB, I think he can die. But I guess the same could be said for the Pango, so maybe it's kind of just pick your poison, you know?
And Nisha looks like that is going to be the completed Aghanim Scepter on the way. So Shield Crash will now proc Swashbuckles, and very valuable item in general. As that 15 talent, I would assume, is Collapse being forced back. Still 4 minutes on that Aegis. Looks like the tier 2 tower will be the choice for Liquid. Let's see how many towers they can get. There's only one more tier 2 after this on the Spirit side in that mid lane. Zai. Another strike with the charge combo. Deadshot gonna miss on Mira though.
Oh, he's gonna live from that.
Walk away. He'll be able to blink to safety. TP with the charge.
Nice word.
Caster cursed by Cinder, and as usual, what a real pile.
I was like, he got really far away and he can maybe, you know, TP out, but there was a ward. So, nope. Just gets charged by a 1,000 move speed cow, and that is a fate I do not wish upon anyone.
Yeah, it's very thick, very juicy.
Okay, that was not at all relatable to what I just said. That's fine.
You're talking about a cow, so I don't know. Collapse. It's going to be found by Zai. Ooh, blink out. Doesn't quite have the silver edge yet from Zai's side, so no break.
Closing in on it though. Gonna only need about 1,000 to go.
Yep.
Yatara is out picking flowers.
And he buys his shard, so roll up is going to be available very soon for the mid laner on Liquid. As long as he doesn't get silenced, of course, that's what that Manta's for. Maposhka is
Yeah, well.
Slow to a crawl thanks to that shield crash. You can see the charge is coming as well. He's already used his dive. There's the calling, trying to use the sun ray to get to the high ground. He's going to get disrupted instead, and will die shortly after. Now the high ground
right into the ghost
attempt from Liquid. Is this too early? So 14K with 2 minutes on the Aegis. We've seen this go wrong for so many teams.
Make it with the Satanic is a way harder kill now than he was before.
That's true.
And again, looking at the damage it shares on Spirit, I think you can poke and prod, but you could also just really constrict the map, because the thing that becomes increasingly difficult now for the Dire team is when they don't really know the spread of the enemy team, it's difficult to find the meaningful team fight. Like maybe you can smoke up and find one kill on somebody, but that's not going to change the state of the game. What you're really looking for is a really great trade-off, and Toro is going to get bugged here.
Yep. A lot of minus armor. We'll take it out swiftly though,
okay,
and walk away.
I was kind of expecting a charge there from Zai. Might have been on cooldown. Choose not to pursue regardless. They will just continue to farm up all the lanes as well as the jungles. And this is another benefit to Spirit Breaker. We've been talking about this hero a decent amount, but any hero that can farm their own side of the map and join fights within seconds just have that as a huge advantage, right? On Spirit side, it is the Spectre. But Spectre's farming speed
Big
doesn't
smoke
quite
for Spirit. Can they find Mickey the Ravage to start things out? He's dead! My goodness, that was quick.
Yep.
Now they kind of wish the Aegis was on him instead. He's going to have to wait 70 seconds and see how much Spirit can get out of this.
This is what I mean, right? This is what Spirit can do. They can smoke many heroes and find one kill, and now what, right? Like, it's obviously a really big kill, killing the Weaver. They're going to be happy with it, but you're not changing the game state. You're not really going to be able to push out the waves. You're not going to be able to get control of the map. Now that Ravage is on cooldown, can play very aggressively as Team Liquid. Wouldn't be surprised to see them taking some opportunities themselves now, maybe with a smoke. Their Aegis will expire soon, but I don't think Pango is in any imminent danger without the Ravage. But if things just slow down and Spirit get that kill essentially for free, that's obviously good news for them. We'll be looking to do the same thing again in a minute and a half.
Yeah, one thing I will say is Spirit do have a very good Roshoff team.
Yes.
With the lineup that they have with the AoE, if you have to fight in that area, obviously they do have quite a big deficit, but I think hero-to-hero matchup, they match up very well in that area. But we'll see if that ends up coming to be, if they can try to contest this eventual second Roche. But for now, that kill onto Mickey was just a little blip on the radar are the Liquid, because they're in firm control of this game right now. You can see Mira being spotted out, will be taken out. Maposhka will be the first to go. Okay.
That was a gem, by the way.
Who supports dead for Spirit?
Gem on the deck. Maposhka's gem now in the hands of Zai, so Team Spirit recognizing that they have to try to take some risks of getting map control back, but get punished immediately, and that gem is just a big gold loss. And now Yatoro, Zai will only hit the illusion. Yatoro looks like he might be dodging the situation entirely. He's got to be really careful, though. Oh. If he had gone for a TP out there, that dead shot might have actually stopped it, and he could have died, but he chose to just run away on the right.
Yeah.
Does live, but the map is really a minefield right now for the side of Spirit. Very, very difficult.
You know, we don't get the opportunity to talk to the crowd too often, Synderen. How many Spirit fans in the audience? Okay. How many Liquid fans in the audience? How many Seattle Supersonic fans in the audience? There we go. Don't worry, you guys will have a team in a couple years.
All right, so essentially the crowd is hoping for a finals of Liquid versus the Supersonic. Wonderful. I'm sure they'll get that eventually. Liquid is going to get into basketball anytime.
Just had to make one reference for TI before I get fired, so
yep.
Appreciate that.
It's incredible. You get fired every year.
That is true. Keep coming back like a bad fungus. 19K lead for Liquid now, as they're just waiting for the old Roach. We'll know in about a minute how long of a spawn that will be, but with the lineup that they have, they can just push these waves consistently. Zai can be on opposite sides of the map. Very difficult to kill, regardless of his items, it feels like, and he certainly has some items. The smoke up right now from Liquid, so looking for a pick off before the potential Roche will spawn.
Yeah, Spirit are trying to get some sort of safe zone, right? They just warded there and they're playing around that vision, but it's immediately de-warded and they just have to concede the area once again. So effectively, they went from having 15% of the map to 20%, and then they lost the 5% again.
Upside.
Very difficult.
There's the break, Nether Strike to follow. Big charge as well. It's only at half HP is Yatoro, but no follow-up whatsoever.
Protection is there from Shadow Demon as well. Yatoro will retreat to base. Currently working on an Orchid. It's close to completion. Reckon he will... I mean, he probably wants to jump and kill the Pugna, but that's not even a possibility right now. Insania with the Eon Disc. Muerta has the Greaves against the Orchid, so that's not great either. It's tough, man. I feel like it's kind of hard to itemize in general for Spectre under these circumstances, because you kind of need a little bit of everything. And I suppose the mindset is we're going to itemize what is most impactful when BKBs drop. An Orchid can come into play there for sure. Now get the shard onto Earth Spirit, so I guess that geomagnetic grip on allies.
Boy, I haven't seen a team love Tormy as much as me until now. Spirit loves it. Liquid does not give a shit. It's 35 minutes in the game. They haven't even taken their own yet. Look at that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of natural for the winning team in this position to maybe not want to go there that much, because you don't want to give up position.
They're too good for it, is what you're saying.
I mean, you're essentially in such an offensive position that if you have to retreat to take the Tormentor, if the enemy team has any information that it's happening, you're kind of opening the door for them to take some control of the map back, so you just opt to not give them that chance. Might fall back for it later, but for now, they're going to reap the rewards of having utter domination of the map. They'll get the second Roche, Aegis and Cheese. Aegis going on Mickey this time around. And they'll put the Cheese into the backpack of Nisha. So recognizing, based on that previous kill, that, yep, Spirit can indeed burst our Weaver. Going to get that extra layer of protection. Mickey almost completing Daedalus now. I mean, I wonder if Liquid want to try to poke the high ground a little bit with this, or once again, if they feel like this will ever get out of hand, right? Like, how long do they need to give Spirit?
Oh, right? Demonic Purge onto Zai. Do they have the damage, though? He's at half HP with that BKB already activated. Going in really deep. They pop the egg with the Sunray as well. The Ravage is being expended as well. He's getting healed now from Insania. This cow will live on. Vegans around the world rejoice. He lives. And now they're going to try to turn this around onto Yatoro, but Mickey, he's taking the brunt of the damage. That's already the Aegis down. Zai getting one more charge off. Eventually he will fall, though. So beef enjoyers enjoy, but Yatoro will drop as well. So there is a trade, and it's very heavy. 3 dead for the eventual kill onto the cow.
That was a really clutch save from Insania. Also a brilliant execution from Spirit, honestly. I did not think they were going to be able to pursue that Spirit Breaker kill at all, but clipping him on the edge of the Ravage and Sunray, that would have been a kill without Insania's save. And sure, they get him in the end, but it made them overextend so much further. And Liquid come in and get quite a bit of a cleanup, and this could open the door for the high ground. Obviously, Aegis down, so you need to be a little bit careful on Mickey not to overcommit. But this time around, there won't be a Ravage.
Time left down for 40 seconds. Tier 3 tower down, base exposed. Well, Collapse jumps in just to get the anchor. Looks like it was Lotus to him instead. That's another fortification. That's the last one for a while here from Spirit's side. A little missed time on the Nether, or the Nether Blast. But you can see that Deso just doing absolute work. That is a melee racks down. As Collapse wants to go a little bit further, another 15 seconds for that.
Oh, that's
a very precarious spot. Trying to get to the high ground. He's going to get disrupted instead. You can see Laurel going in with that BKB and the Blade Mail as well. Still a lot of damage being applied, but no kills as of yet.
A Spectre about to spawn with a Shadow Step here.
Indeed, they just need a little bit of vision. Laurel trying to provide that onto Boxy. They've got to get something out of this, and they will. But it's just the support. They lose their melee racks. It's going to cost them dearly.
Yeah, that looked like a bit of an awkward situation. I don't think Laurel meant to kick Collapse into the enemy team there, but they do get out alive on their tide. So, scary situation for them. Liquid with a good pickup of that melee racks, as you pointed out. And they still have their cheese. I don't know if they're going to consider this enough of an advantage to look for more, or if they're going to fall back into the...
I thought you were going to say enough of an advantage to go for block of cheese, the first ever in TI history.
Yeah, has that?
No.
Okay, have you seen a pro game with
Not
it?
one, not one.
Okay.
I feel like of all people, I would have heard about it, so I'm just going to assume that it's never happened.
Yeah, maybe that needs to be a little bit easier to make, or
good. Just make it good, please. Now Zai is now level 25.
Yep.
Oh, he's got a Stormcrafter. That's some nice move speed and mana.
Goes for the
Very
20%
juicy.
greater bash chance here, so now up to 37. He's decent attack speed as well with his Silver Edge.
Taro, he was broken by the creep temporarily. That's going to be broken by the counter step, but he's actually going to use his ult onto the other side. Beautifully done. They kill off Nisha right off the bat, and Zai, he's left kind of alone, but Mickey standing on the outskirts. The egg is placed with that Sun Ray being applied. Zai will charge away. So in the end, it looks like only one will be lost, although the chase is not completely over. Still a pretty damn big kill for Spirit.
The timing on that was actually pretty ridiculous. As Zai was opening on Yatoro, he shadow stepped over to the other kill. So not only did they kill the Pango, but they also saved their Spectre from a really awkward situation. So that could not have been any more perfect for Spirit. They get a kill and they get a tower. It's not the biggest of deals, but you know, they're staying afloat. The lead hasn't really grown very much, and you're seeing the win probability kind of not really shifting in the last 10 minutes, so give it enough time, it might just start dipping down slightly. And they're getting some pretty key items, right? So Laurel getting the Axe is obviously enormous, right? This is a key way of saving from the Spirit Breaker combination onto his Spectre. That is something that you cannot break, so as long as he's in position, which he should very easily be able to get with Rolling Boulder and BKB, and save it, the target of his choosing, and kick them out. Or they could use it to kick someone into terrible positioning because Liquid don't really have the best save. So just finding a support and kicking them 2,000 range away, they're probably just going to die on the spot.
Well, 41 minutes in, it's only one melee Rax, and I know it's 18k lead, which is, like you said, it is somewhat substantial, but it hasn't really grown that much. So Spirit definitely fighting back, and the later this game goes, the more comfortable I'm saying that their lineup is just better, on paper at least, but a lot
Breaker's always such a wild card, but yeah, in this
That's
game,
true.
in this game at the very least, there are solutions that we'll see.
Oh my God, collapse! Oh, he turns into stone though, nicely done. He's actually gonna live as a result, but it's gonna cost Laurel his life. Oh boy, that is not worth trading a position 2 for a 3 and a 5 now. Aye, Spirit down a 3v5, and they're gonna lose more than just that range Rax.
Did Mickey double crit there or something?
Couldn't tell you.
Tide almost instantly died. That was ridiculous, and that's okay. Well, we have all our theory crafting going about how late can this game go. Well, if you lose 2 heroes like that without buyback, you're going to get mega now. I don't think Spirit have any hopes of defending this without... Oh, actually, Earth Spirit buyback did come up, so maybe you could go for some sort of a hold with 4 heroes here, but this is going to be really, really difficult to pull off.
Sure is. The Ravage to start. There's the buyback as well. The Egg with the Sun Ray. In addition, Zai.
Oh, they actually got him.
They actually deleted Mickey. Somehow locked him down 100 seconds without their Weaver now. Can Liquid get away without any other casualties, though? Boxy, he's going to get anchored. Gonna have to fight his way out of this one. Looks like Zai wants to continue on. Gets off the charges. Lars will pop his BKB. BKB's galore, in fact. There's the Rolling Thunder from Nisha with the roll-up. Being used to lock several heroes down from Spirit, but they do lose their support in the end. And a nice roll onto the high ground. Finds Insania. Eon Disc will just delay the inevitable. So 3 kills in favor of Spirit. They defend what looked undefendable and
that
indefendable,
was
whatever the word.
Super close to being 4 kills because the Pango collapse cast Hex during the end of that Rolling Thunder, and it expired just before the Rolling Thunder did the Hex duration. So otherwise he would have been caught on his TP out, and that could have turned into something big for Spirit. I mean, it's still pretty solid given the circumstances. We're now kind of back to the gold that we had before the 18k lead, but you're down another lane of barracks, so there's going to be more problems on the map for Spirit to solve. And still, given the circumstances, that could have just been the end of the game instead. So I guess you got to take the small victories where you can get them.
Yeah, collapse with that Meteor Hammer. Going to be able to take out this tier 2 tower, looks like. And need to go for the anchor smash on buildings, by the way.
They find Yatoro.
Yatoro. Disruption's going to keep him safe for the time being. In fact, it saves him in the end.
Oh, Demonic Purge.
Okay. Demonic Purge applied to him, collapses in the area. Now the big charge from Zai trying to keep the rest of Spirit at bay, but the anchor's applied to the Pangolier. That is a dead Nisha. Does have buyback, but just waited out. Still had the cheese as well. Zai and company trying to find more than just the Shadow Demon. They're going to find the Pochka. Looks like he's donezo. Oh, just barely barely getting out was the Tide. So Collapse does live. So lots of back and forth in this game number 2. But a huge kill on Tide. I feel like when either team just finds one hero isolated, they just get deleted instantly.
Yeah, this can snowball very quickly in fights for both teams. You see the quick kill on Pango. The good news for Liquid in that situation was that Supernova wasn't ready, so they were able to collapse onto the Phoenix and bring him down. Love the purchase of Lincoln's, by the way, on him identifying, okay, I mean, we have to just start solving the Spirit Breaker. This is not an item you will usually see Phoenix buy after Yules, but it's probably the best choice you have in this game, so you just try to stay afloat. That was also a refresher reveal from Collapse there. So a lot being expended from Spirit, and honestly not really the best result, right? Considering that they found the Pango kill first. I don't think that went as well as they would have hoped, and now they're also going to lose the Roach. They have no Ravages, so this is completely uncontestable. Let's see who gets to pick up the goodies. There will be a refresher card on this.
Will Zai have 2 refreshers? No. Not yet, at least.
Or do you give it to?
Well, Boxy will hold on to
Boxy
it for
holding
now.
it, yeah. So he'll have 2 pierces of the Veils. Not really the best hero in this game for the refresh. I feel like maybe he should pass it on.
I think he's acting
probably holding it for Pango, right?
Yeah, he's being a courier right now, for sure.
You would think so.
So they do have the 2 cheeses still. So block of cheese enjoyers out there rejoice. Definitely a possibility.
What if you got 4 cheeses, then you got a bigger cheese?
The big cheese?
Yeah. Does this look... Nah, actually, it's not a quarter, is it? It's like a 1/6 or an 1/8. That's a good idea. Block of cheeses, too easy to make. Let's make it 8 cheeses. We've had some games this tournament that could have almost...
It could have. Yeah, could have. As we have a smoke now from Liquid, supporting this 25K lead. It's all about the buyback situation, especially for Spirit, because Liquid will likely just be in their base.
Yep.
The engagement has been actually expended here.
They're still holding on to the refresher and Boxy's back time. I mean, the calling is a pretty filthy spell, and having 2 of them back-to-back is very good, but I still think that Pango would want it. Anyway, here comes the Siege. Tower will be falling to just the Siege creeps.
McKay's going to show himself. Back away. Want to be very careful here. Despite having 2 cheeses in the Aegis, we have seen a lot of high grounds get punished.
Yep. And Yatoro is huge. It's worth keeping in mind. This is a level 26 Spectre with 6 slots. There's still a bit of room to grow, but he is very, very strong. Wants to finish his Abyssal Blade, and then we're maybe replace the treads, and then we're at the maximum output.
Yeah, he has Nullifier and Bloodthorn.
Yeah, he can kill this Pugna very fast. Can kill anyone really fast, essentially. If they just find the Ravage opener, Liquid are very cognizant of that fact. Maybe you just let the Nether Blast do the step by step.
Yeah, you'd think that with the Dark Willow we saw the other day. Basically a trebuchet from global range, and you still lose the game. There's the Ravage, he's gonna try to put everything on the Mickey. That's just the Aegis though. He is surrounded. Zai coming in with the charge. Nisha with the Rolling Thunder as well. The egg is placed. Do Spirit, or do Liquid actually want to stick around? They used a couple of ults just to try to be able to fight this. Is Zai able to charge out with that refresher? Boxing to pop his ult, trying to apply as much pressure as possible, but now he's in no man's land. He's going to use the refresher shard that we were really theory crafting.
Ah, yes, the refresher pike that we all thought was going to be.
Oh dear. So Aegis,
all right,
shard gone.
Yeah, they do hold on. Collapse refreshed his Ravage and didn't have mana for it, so that could have probably gone a lot better for Spirit than it did, which is kind of scary news for Liquid, right? You have all these advantages, you're trying to push high ground, and despite only 1 Ravage coming out, you still didn't get anything out of it. And I love this from Spirit, you know, take some initiative, play on the second Ravage that you have, you know there's no Aegis. Maybe you can catch them before the BKBs come off cooldown again, and that would lead to a really big moment for you. Spectre can take care of the base, Shadow Step at the ready.
Oh, Aghanim Scepter for Zai. Beautiful. Level 27.
Oh, boy.
That's okay.
Okay, well.
Oh, Bounty Rune. Don't mind if I do.
OpenAI would have killed him there, but that's the kind of reactions you needed.
Yep, true. Next time, ask ChatGPT to play your game of Dota for you. Nisha, rolling thunder. He's actually going to get it off. Gets the stun onto 2 as well as Mickey trying to apply as much pressure, but there's a disruption. Mitigating a lot of the damage here, but now the pressure being applied to Mira, who dies and now buys back. Decrepify. Onto Yotaro. He's going to get onto the high ground safely. Not a whole lot was lost, but Spirit has one support buyback that they have to worry about is Boxy getting gone on now by Yotaro. Nice dead shot. Keeping him at bay. Looks like he'll get away safely as well, so I think this might be a next Roche situation for Liquid.
It's
really hard to go high ground.
It is really difficult.
I mean, if you find the Shadow Demon again, that's can't buy back, so maybe that's the main target in this next fight.
Absolutely. He's the best kill they can possibly get, and he dies very fast if anything connects on him. So it's just a matter of getting one charge connection or a couple of swings from the Weaver might just kill him from 100 to 0. It's worth keeping in mind that Miro doesn't have a defensive item. He has Blink Dagger, no Aeon Disc, no Ghost Scepter, nothing of that sort to try to stay alive against some of these hard-hitting heroes. So positioning is everything.
Tormy, number 3, if my count is correct. Yotaro will get that shard. Which means, does everybody have one now? On their team? No, Mira does not. Wow, the support. After all that, the support still didn't get a shard. That's a lot of 50-50s that is lost.
Yeah, I think they would actually kind of like to have the Demonic Cleansing.
Yep. Oh, Liquid are like, oh, I forgot this existed. Okay. Insania, enjoy your worthless shard.
I mean, maybe they watched Bet Boom's games and just came to the conclusion that it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
The Tormentor has killed Bet Boom more times than they have killed that.
They have buffed this Pugna shard over the course of the last couple of years, so it's certainly better than it used to be.
More cast range on the Nether Ward, you can drain into it.
I mean, it was either that or the Muerto one, which as a support... Oh, she already has his, actually. Box already has it. They must have killed Tormy already.
It's okay, the support, or the shard on the supports, but...
It's no grab ally, that's for sure. Although, Toronto Tokyo literally never bought the shard in an 80-minute game.
Yeah, that was...
He doesn't want to stun his teammates, I guess. They don't know how to click out of that tombstone.
He had bigger items to get.
Yeah.
He wanted to set the world record for most health on a hero in a pro game, which he might have actually done.
That's true. The shard doesn't help with that.
I think he got 14k health at one point in the game. So might have not been the one today, because he had another game as well where he had the same build on Dying.
Absolutely absurd. Giant's Ring, Heart, Aghanim Scepter. Beefy boy indeed. Nisha now with a double damage bottled. And if they can hold on to this for the next Roche off, which could be in the next minute, that would be huge.
Love the placement from Zai here. He's literally just a smoke breaker, waiting for any sort of opportunity as well to maybe pounce. He will go here.
Yeah, there's the charge to start things out for Zai. Looking for the another strike, but the disruption is there. He's going to get cleansed now. He's already at half HP. He's going to pop his refresher, try to get away. The Rolling Thunder's now in with Nisha. Not able to do too much damage, focusing all their efforts on the Laurel, who's kind of on the sideline. He's going to turn himself into stone to stay alive. They lose the Shadow Demon, though. Now the roll away from Laurel. Being pursued by Mickey, who still has double damage. Collapse! Almost gets insta-give, and now the charge is there to try to finish him off, and he does so successfully. Will buy back 2 members of Spirit with still with their ultimate, so Ravage is still available. Looks like they're going to be able to sacrifice Insania here. Yotaro's kind of all alone. Insania now, BKB, okay. Will he die? The Nullifier's there to finish him up with Yotaro. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? You're getting surrounded yourself. The dead shot, he's stuck inside the trees, and he is dead. 100 seconds of no Spectre. The Ravage finally comes out. So 2 members of Liquid do die, but they're Ancient exposed from the Spirit side.
He was zoning 3 heroes for like 10 seconds.
And Mickey looking to get the rest of the buildings here to ensure victory in this game number 2 for Team Liquid. 2 buybacks now from Liquid's side. Mega creeps in their favor, and now it's a 5 versus 3 without the carry from the side of Spirit. The Ancient being exposed. All they have to do is right-click that with that Desolator until his GGs are called. This series is going to game 3.